And now time for the segment Savannah Guthrie's been waiting all day for. She's going to take the lead on this one. Here to give us his take on the top sports stories of 2009, sports writer for The Nation and founder of the website edgeofsports.com, Dave Zirin. He's also the author of the book, A People's History of Sports in the United States. Dave, great to see you again.
I'm just happy to be necromancing with you finally.
Very nice.
Well played.
Used in a sentence, and we still don't know what it means. Only Christian knows for sure. Okay, before we get to your top 5 sports stories of 2009, I've got to ask you about your recent piece where you said Tiger Woods should not only should not have been the athlete of the decade, which he was according to the Associated Press, he's not even on the list.
Shouldn't even be on the list. This to me is the real Tiger scandal, because first of all, it perpetuates the mistaken idea that Tiger Woods is an athlete and that golf is a sport.
Well,
I mean, I believe...
no, he might have something
look,
here.
it's a thank you, and there are applause happening. Look, it's a very easy metric. Anything that you can gain weight while doing, or anything that you can smoke cigarettes while doing, is not a sport. Golf is a brilliant skill. It takes concentration. It takes all kinds of wonderful attributes. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's the World Series of Poker with walking. They don't even carry their own clubs.
And it's not even in Vegas either. You need to take that out of it.
Is there some hand-eye coordination involved, though? That's not part of poker,
sure.
right?
There also is in darts.
But if you take your
so is it a game, not a sport?
It's a game, and it's a wonderful game.
Right.
But please, naming him the athlete of the decade
Physical
in the
strength,
AP's.
you know, physical strength required.
I mean, not necessarily.
Skill.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you look at there are some women golfers who have less.
And
sort
because
of basic...
women can do it, it's not a sport.
No.
I'm
saying that
there's
drives.
That's a good issue here.
Well, actually, you want to talk about women in sports?
No.
Look at the AP top 5. There's not one woman in the top 5. My list has Serena Williams at number 2.
Tennis.
Okay.
We love you.
There you go.
If you take your dismissal and put that aside of golf, isn't Tiger Woods the most dominant player of the game of this decade?
Sure, the most dominant gamesman, but I think there's a Dungeons and Dragons player in Kansas who might be a little better.
That's cruel. That's cruel and unfair to John Daly, a fine athlete.
Sure.
But Tiger Woods scandal, of course, your number 1 story of the year.
Has to be. When you have the number 1 gamesman in the world voluntarily step away from his sport, that's a huge story. Sport's first billion-dollar brand stepping away, that is a huge sport. But it's not a huge story. But that's not the only story from 2009. Not even close.
And does he come back? And what happens to Tiger Woods as a golfer? I'm talking about here. Is he
stepped
diminished?
away from the handbook in a big way. Bill Clinton kept presidenting. Kobe Bryant kept basketballing. He has stepped away, and it could be 3 months or it could be 3 years. But it's going to have a huge impact on the world of golf. I mean, the numbers as far as how much the purses have gone up since Tiger Woods has been in golf, astronomical.
One would think golf would be the road back to redemption for him.
He
Maybe
wants
not
back,
personally, but
and they desperately want him back. Rush Limbaugh, number 2 on your list?
Absolutely. This was a huge story. Rush Limbaugh wanted to be an owner of an NFL team, a minority owner of the St. Louis Rams. Rush Limbaugh was felled, though, first of all, by players who spoke out, which is rare in sports, the union, which spoke out against a prospective owner, which never happens in sports. But at the end of the day, it was the owners themselves who tend to be somewhat to the right of Genghis Khan, NFL owners. And it was they themselves who said Rush Limbaugh should not be a part owner of a team. And this is huge to me in a broader political sense, because to me it was a sign that for Rush Limbaugh, outside the sort of confines of right-wing talk radio, his brand in the broader cultural sense is toxic.
Speaking of a toxic brand, Michael Vick made his return to the NFL this year, number 3 on your list.
A toxic brand, yet still one of the top-selling jerseys in the NFL this year. To me, the fascinating thing about the Michael Vick story is that people almost had this Armageddon view when he was coming back to the NFL. Either it would be this huge success or the league would implode and PETA would be having mass rallies outside of every stadium. Instead, he's been a minor player on a successful team, playing a role, not even the most exciting player on his own team. Deshaun Jackson setting NFL records this year for most touchdowns over 50 yards.
I know.
You were just talking about Deshaun Jackson.
I'm the one who gave you that fact.
That is true.
Yeah.
No, it's not. But it is true that the Michael Vick story, to me, the fact that it's been such a non-story is in of itself a huge story.
Yeah, flown under the radar well. Number 4 on your list, gender controversy, Caster Semenya.
Caster Semenya. I mean, this is somebody who went from setting world records to being on suicide watch.
Yeah.
And it's for a simple reason. She's 18 years old. She was subjected to a whole series of incredibly invasive gender tests, from having to see an endocrinologist to a psychologist to determine her gender. And what it shows is that the world of track and field still has no way to sort of understand the fact that when it comes to gender, it's not always as simple as, pardon the expression, black or white. Gender variance is a real part of the human condition, and they haven't figured out a way to sort of deal with this in the realm of competition without tearing this person limb from limb. Age 18, from a gold medal winner to suicide watch.
She went through a lot. People following her into bathrooms and all kinds of things. Very ugly. And number 5 on your list, A-Rod.
A-Rod, a favorite story in all counts. A-Rod, the man who admitted to using steroids, and yet somehow it was forgotten in time for him to be a playoff and World Series hero. Fascinating. I mean, some could just say, Kate Hudson, she should be the mayor of New York. She rehabilitated him for all of us. But I think this was the...
I'd take it. Yeah. I'd vote for her.
I think he had the luckiest torn hip in history because it allowed him to come in a couple of months late in the season. It made things a little bit smoother.
Interesting. Nothing on the field on your list of the top 5.
Got to give a shout-out, though, to 2 legends who just died. Lester Rodney, age 98, the first person to ever lead a sustained campaign to integrate Major League Baseball as the sports editor of the Communist Party's newspaper in the 30s. Led this campaign, just died at age 98. Dennis Brutus, the brilliant anti-apartheid campaigner who used sports and the Olympics as a way to point out the reality of apartheid South Africa, also just passed away at age 85.
All right, great list. Dave Zirin, thanks so much. And Savannah was also saying she'd like to see Deshaun Jackson in the Wildcat formation a little more often. Yeah, she thinks he's that versatile.
Yeah, I do. I think it's a real mistake on the court or whatever.
The court.
The court.
Wow.
In the third period, he's brilliant.
Yeah, he is. He can skate like nobody else.
Whoa.
Dave Zirin, thanks so much. Always great talking to you.
My privilege.
Appreciate it.